There are moments in the tapestry of existence when the fabric shifts, when a single thread pulled somewhere across the distance causes the entire weaving to shimmer and rearrange itself. And today, beloved soul, you may have felt something. Perhaps a flutter in your chest, a sudden depth to your breathing, a moment where time seemed to pause and the air around you felt charged with significance you couldn't name, because somewhere in this vast universe, someone connected to your heart made a decision. And the angels want you to understand that this was not a small thing, not a casual turn of a page, but a moment of true choice, the kind that requires courage and clarity and a willingness to face what has been avoided. And while you may not have witnessed this choice with your physical eyes, your soul registered it. Your energy field responded to it. Because when two hearts have been entangled, even in confusion, even in silence, even in the complicated dance of nearness and distance, there exists an invisible communication that transcends phone calls and messages and physical presence, a knowing that moves through the same divine channels that connect all living things to the source of love itself. The angels speak of this connection not as chains that bind you to another's path, but as sacred threads that allow you to feel the truth of movements happening beyond your immediate awareness. And today there's a movement, a shifting of weight from one foot to another, a decision to either step forward or step back, to claim something or release it. And regardless of what that choice was, regardless of whether it brings this person closer to you or creates more distance, what matters, infinitely more, is what this moment is revealing to you about your own journey, about the ways you've been waiting, hoping, holding space, carrying the emotional labor of two souls when you were only ever meant to carry your own. The universe operates on principles of balance and divine timing, and sometimes what appears as an ending or a turning away is actually the clearing of space for something more aligned, more authentic, more worthy of the love you carry within you. And the angels want you to breathe into this moment with trust rather than fear, with curiosity rather than attachment to a specific outcome, because your destiny is not dependent on another person's choices. Your destiny is a living, breathing co-creation between your soul's intentions and the divine intelligence that guides all things toward their highest expression. And when someone else makes a choice, whether that choice honors you or disappoints you, whether it brings closure or opens new questions, it is simultaneously an invitation for you to make your own choice about who you want to be, how you want to feel, what you are willing to accept, and what you are ready to release. This is the sacred work that no one else can do for you, the inner excavation that reveals your own power, your own worthiness, your own capacity to stand in your truth even when the ground beneath you feels uncertain. And the angels are gathering around you now, not to promise you a specific outcome with another person, but to remind you that you are held, you are seen, you are infinitely more powerful than you've been allowing yourself to believe. And whatever is unfolding in the invisible realms between you and this soul, whatever decision has been made today, know that it is part of a larger divine orchestration that is always working in favor of your highest good. Even when your human heart cannot yet see the blessing hidden within the challenge, even when the waiting feels unbearable and the not knowing threatens to consume your peace. Perhaps what has been most difficult is not the absence itself, but the weight of the silence, the weight that settled between you like a living thing, taking up space where words should have been, where clarity should have existed, where honest conversation about feelings and intentions and fears should have flowed freely. And yet instead there has been this careful dance of partial truths and unfinished sentences, of messages that say everything and nothing at once, of energy that reaches toward you and then pulls back, leaving you in a perpetual state of confusion about what is real and what you might be imagining, about whether connection you feel is genuinely reciprocated, or if you have been building a bridge to someone who has no intention of meeting you halfway. The angels want you to understand that this silence has not been neutral. It has not been nothing, because silence in the context of connection is always a choice, always a communication. And while it may feel like cruelty or carelessness, it is often the sound of someone who is deeply conflicted, someone who feels pulled between what their heart whispers and what their fear screams, between the vulnerability of true intimacy and the false safety of emotional distance. And in that inner war, in that battle between courage and self-protection, you become collateral damage, left to interpret the gaps, to fill in the spaces with your own anxiety or hope or increasingly exhausted patience. What many women are not taught is that you do not have to decode someone else's silence. You do not have to become a translator, mixed signals, or a therapist for someone else's emotional unavailability. Because the truth is that when someone truly wants to be with you, when someone truly values what you bring to their life, when someone truly sees your worth and is ready to honor it, there is no silence. There is communication, there is effort, there is consistency, there is a natural flow of giving and receiving that doesn't leave you feeling starved for breadcrumbs of attention. The angels are not telling you this to make you feel foolish for caring, for hoping, for investing your emotional energy in someone who may not have been ready to receive it, because your capacity to love deeply, to believe in connection, to open your heart even after it has been hurt is not a weakness. It is a profound strength. It is evidence of your courage and your refusal to become cynical or closed. But there is a difference between loving someone and abandoning yourself in the process, between holding space for someone's growth and shrinking yourself to accommodate their limitations. And what the angels want to illuminate for you now is where you may have been giving your power away, where you may have been making excuses for behavior that hurt you, where you may have been telling yourself stories about someone's potential rather than seeing the reality of their actions. Today's choice, whatever it was, whatever direction this person's heart has turned, is bringing all of this into sharper focus, forcing the truth out of shadows and into the light where you can finally see it clearly without the softening filter of hope or wishful thinking. And while this clarity may initially feel painful, while it may bring up grief or disappointment or anger, it is ultimately a gift because you cannot make empowered decisions for yourself when you are living in a fog of uncertainty, when you are constantly trying to read the emotional weather patterns of someone else's inner world while neglecting the climate of your own heart. What you must understand, dear one, is that the choice made today was not made in consultation with you. It was not made with your needs or feelings at the center of consideration. It was made in the private chambers of another soul's struggle, in the quiet moments when this person was forced to confront themselves, their patterns, their fears, their readiness or unreadiness of the kind of love that requires transformation. And while you may have been part of the equation, may have been one of the factors being weighed, you were not the determining force. Because ultimately, every person must face their own inner truth, must choose between the comfort of what they know and the risk of what they desire, must decide whether they are willing to do the difficult work of showing up authentically or whether they will retreat into familiar patterns of self-protection that keep them safe but also keep them alone. The angels want you to recognize that this is not personal in the way your wounded heart might interpret it, meaning that another person's inability to choose you, to commit to you, to rise to meet you in the way you deserve is not a reflection of your value or lovability or worthiness of deep connection. It is a reflection of where they are on their own journey, their own healing, their own readiness to be the partner that someone like you requires. And sometimes the most loving thing the universe can do is prevent a union that will require you to shrink, to compromise your standards, to accept less than the full and devoted love your soul came here to experience. There is a part of you that wants to know the specifics, that wants to understand exactly what was decided, whether this person chose to come forward or chose to pull back, whether they're moving toward you or away from you. And while that information may eventually reveal itself through actions and time, what is more important right now is how you are going to choose for yourself, how you are going to use this moment of uncertainty as a catalyst for your own clarity, your own commitment to yourself, your own decision about what kind of love you are willing to accept into your life from this point forward. The angels speak of divine masculine energy as a force that, when fully awakened and healthy, knows how to lead, how to pursue, how to make its intentions clear, how to create safety and certainty for the divine feminine to rest into. And when that energy is absent, when there is wavering or confusion or inconsistency, it is not your job to do the masculine work of chasing, convincing, or making it easy for someone to choose you. Your job is to remain anchored in your own feminine power, which is magnetic rather than pursuing, which is receptive rather than forcing, which knows how to hold space without losing itself in the process. This moment is asking you to trust that what is meant for you will not require this level of confusion, will not leave you feeling uncertain about where you stand, will not make you question your worth or your intuition. And if this person has chosen anything other than a clear, wholehearted yes to you and what you represent, then perhaps the real choice being presented is whether you will choose yourself, whether you will honor your own timeline for receiving clarity, whether you will be willing to walk away from potential in favor of someone who is actually ready to build something real with you. If you are truly honest with yourself, if you quiet the noise of hope and fear, and simply listen to the whisper of knowing that lives beneath your thoughts, you will recognize that you have felt this coming, that some part of you has been preparing for a shift, for a revelation, for the end of a chapter that has been beautiful and painful and confusing all at once, because your intuition has been speaking to you all along, hasn't it? In the restless nights when you couldn't settle, in the moments when you found yourself holding your breath waiting for a message that never came or came too late, in the subtle but persistent feeling that something wasn't quite right, that there was an imbalance in the giving and receiving, that you were investing more than was being matched. And while your conscious mind may have overridden these signals with explanations and justifications and the generous interpretation of someone else's behavior, your soul has been tracking the truth the entire time. The angels want to validate what you've been feeling. They want you to know that your discomfort was not paranoia or insecurity or self-sabotage. It was accurate perception. It was your inner guidance system functioning exactly as it should, alerting you to the fact that something in this dynamic was not aligned with your highest good. And now, with today's choice, with whatever decision has been made in the invisible realms of another person's heart, you are being given the opportunity to trust what you know, to honor what you feel, to stop dismissing your own wisdom in favor of someone else's version of reality. There is a particular kind of grief that comes when you finally admit to yourself that someone you cared for deeply is not capable of meeting you in the way you need. When you stop waiting for them to change or grow, or suddenly wake up to what they are losing. When you accept that their journey is their own, and that you cannot love someone into readiness, cannot heal someone's wounds through your patience, cannot be enough on your own to make someone choose partnership over self-protection. And while this grief is real and deserves to be felt, there's also a profound liberation that comes with it, a reclaiming of your energy, a return to yourself, a remembering that you are whole and complete and magnificent even without this connection, that your worth was never dependent on whether someone else could see it, claim it, honor it. The angels are gathering the fragments of your heart that you left scattered in the space between you and this person. They are collecting the energy you spent trying to understand, trying to be patient, try to hold on, and they are returning it to you now, transformed, purified, ready to be invested in something that will actually grow. And as you receive this energy back into your own being, you may notice that you feel simultaneously lighter and more grounded, simultaneously sad about what is ending and curious about what is beginning. And this is a sacred paradox of spiritual growth. The way that letting go and leveling up often happen in the same moment. The way that loss and liberation are sometimes two faces of the same transformation. What happens now is perhaps the most important part of this entire journey, because in this space of aftermath, in this tender territory between what was and what will be, you have the opportunity to make choices that will ripple forward into your future in ways you cannot yet imagine. And the angels want you to understand that your power has never been about controlling another person's decisions or manifesting a specific outcome or forcing the universe to bend to your will. Your power has always been about how you respond to what life brings, how you treat yourself in moments of disappointment, how you maintain your dignity and self-respect even when your heart is breaking, how you choose to interpret the events that unfold as either evidence that you are unworthy or evidence that you are being redirected towards something better. This is the moment where you get to practice radical self-love, not as a concept or a hashtag, but as a lived reality, as a series of concrete actions that demonstrate to yourself and to the universe that you value your own well-being, your own peace, your own joy enough to stop settling for situations that leave you feeling uncertain or undervalued. And this might mean finally sending the message you've been afraid to send, the one that asks for clarity or expresses your truth or establishes a boundary, or it might mean choosing silence, choosing to stop reaching out, choosing to let someone else do the work of bridging the gap if they truly want you in their life. And both of these paths require courage. Both require you to risk the discomfort of not knowing how the other person will respond. But what they give you in return is something infinitely more valuable than another person's approval. They give you your self-respect back. They give you the satisfaction of knowing that you honored yourself, that you didn't abandon your needs in favor of keeping a connection alive that was already dying from neglect. The angels want to remind you that there's someone, somewhere, who is ready for the kind of love you offer. Someone who will not make you wonder about their feelings or intentions. Someone who will pursue you with clarity and consistency. Someone who will make you feel chosen every single day, not through grand gestures, but through small, steady acts of devotion, And while that someone may not be the person you've been focused on, while that timeline may not be today or tomorrow, the truth is that every moment you spend entangled with someone who cannot fully meet you is a moment you are not available for the love that is actually aligned with your destiny. And so this ending, this shift, this choice that was made today is actually creating the space for that aligned love to find you, is actually preparing you to receive it by teaching you what you will no longer accept, what you will no longer tolerate, what you will no longer mistake for love, when it is actually just potential or chemistry or the intoxicating pain of intermittent reinforcement. Take a moment now, if you feel called, to place your hand on your heart and simply acknowledge to yourself, silently or aloud, one thing you are ready to release, one belief about yourself or about love that no longer serves you. Because this simple act of acknowledgement is how transformation begins. This is how you signal to the universe that you are ready for something different, something more, something that honors the fullness of who you are. And as you do this, know that you are not alone in this process, that there are invisible hands supporting you, that there's divine intelligence orchestrating a path forward that is more beautiful than anything your limited human perspective can currently conceive. And while the road ahead may still feel uncertain, while there may be more to understand about why this all unfolded the way it did, while there are deeper layers of this story still waiting to be revealed in the days to come, trust that you are exactly where you need to be. Trust that every ending is simultaneously a beginning. Trust that your heart, though tender now, is also fierce and resilient and capable of loving again when the right person finally appears. And until then, let your most important love story be the one you are writing with yourself. Let your most sacred commitment be the one you make to your own healing and wholeness. Let your most beautiful romance be the one between your soul and the divine mystery that is guiding you home to yourself, step by sacred step, breath by sacred breath, choice by sacred choice. And perhaps, if you listen very carefully in the quiet moments between now and tomorrow, you will begin to hear what the angels have not yet spoken, the part of this message that is still forming in the ethers, the understanding that will make sense of what today's choice truly means, and why everything, absolutely everything, had to happen exactly this way.